Tonight, Senate confirms appointment of Dr. Kingsley Tochukwu Ude as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Do not panic. We are not on witch hunt mission. House Committee tells VCs of federal universities. Plus, parliamentarian speaks on stakeholders' interface on reserved seats for women bill in Nigeria. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Vivian Idekpefo. Reports reaching us indicates that the Nigerian Senate has confirmed the appointment of Dr. Kingsley Tochukwu Ude, SAN, from Enugu State as a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Dr. Ude was appointed this week by President Bola Tinubu following the resignation of Uche Nnaji, the immediate past Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology. Until his nomination as minister, Dr. Ude was the Enugu State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice.
As a Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I hope he will bring his wealth of experience to add to the federal cabinet, to add value, and then realize the hope, the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President.
Meanwhile, Senate has asked the National Agency for Foods and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, not to extend the grace period with regards to the ban on the packaging of high-strength alcohol in sachet beyond December 2025. The House of Representatives has declared youth in Parliament as champions of the special seat bill, which is in line with the provisions of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action adopted by 189 countries at the 1995 Fourth World Conference on Women. This proclamation was made when the Green Chamber's Joint Committee played host to civil societies and international delegation on the reserved seats bill. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide reports.
Let young Nigerians occupy the position while affirmative action of the 1995 Beijing Declaration becomes actualized was the resolve of the hosts and the welcomed partners. Recall the Beijing Declaration established a comprehensive roadmap with 12 critical areas for action, including poverty, education, health, violence, and economic as well as political equality. As for the delegation, inclusion of women in governance, their empowerment, bringing new faces on board to attain female equilibrium, and many more are contemporary development issues to X-ray.
In different parts of the world, women representation is no longer an issue. I was lucky to have been in Beijing in 1995 as a young woman. And so the platform and the affirmative actions, all of that, we struggled for it. It was before Beijing that the Ministry of Women Affairs was created. And that is why we said, let it be additional seats. Only 37 in the House of Reps and only 37 in the Senate. At the state level, it's going to be three additional seats in each of the states, which means one member will represent each of the senatorial zones.
The declaration of the members of Reps Committee on Youth in Parliament as advocates and champions of the special seat bill marked the high point of the high-level engagement.
The other ones about the minor issues of the bills, I'm sure you have a consultant and you would fine-tune it to ensure that everybody understands it. Break it down to the layman's language.
So now the Senate is settling for just 6 extra Senate seats for our women. We are good to go. If that is the only thing that is on the table for us. Send the seats for the women! For the table to be stronger!
From the National Assembly, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
To explore more on the outcome of the stakeholders' interface on the reserved seats for women bill, I am being joined by the member House of Representatives Committee on Women Affairs, Honorable Tolulokwe Akonde Shadikwe. She is also the Chairman House Committee on Humanitarian
Services.
You are welcome to Parliamentary News on NTA Parliament.
Yes.
During the interface, there were critical developmental issues raised. Can you shed more light?
When we talk about development issues, we talk about mortality rate, we talk about education, we talk about general welfare, infrastructure, education, healthcare. These are key issues that when women are involved in, women can steer the decisions in the right direction. To illustrate the point about that, I'll share an example with you. I was just at a Commonwealth Parliament meeting, and one of the chairpersons of the Women Living with Disabilities of Commonwealth Parliament, a parliamentarian as well, traveled through London to come to the venue where we had that meeting. And she had a very bad experience in that she arrived at the airport, Gatwick Airport, and apparently, if I remember well, she was outside in the taxi waiting for 1 hour before a wheelchair could be provided to get her out of the taxi into the airport. All this time, the taxi driver wanted her out of his car because he needed to go back to work. Unfortunately, she's not able to work, so there's no way she was going to get able to get out of that vehicle. If when they were building that airport or administering the setup of that airport, if there had been a person living with disabilities in the committee that organized, administered, those issues would have been considered at the strategic development stage. So when you don't have females, for example, at the table, issues that relate to the human rights, the basic human rights of females would not be looked into. You saw the matter I was handling. The matter I was handling was the matter of trafficked girls. Because I am female, I can understand what those females are going through. I was able to reach out to one of them, got her to open and talk. And in the process, I have introduced her to my colleague, Honorable Blessing Amadi from Rivers State, who is going to make sure that that trafficked child gets back to her family tomorrow.
In your contribution, you mentioned the term female equilibrium theory. How does this add up to the promotion of the subject matter, which is the special seat bill?
It's part of it. Let me explain how it relates to it. Like I said, I am at the University of Ibadan right now, taking a PhD in gender studies, because I wanted to understand why we are where we are with regards to the issue of equity. There's patriarchy, there's religion, and there's customs. But as women, what can we do? What role can we play to improve the circumstances that we find ourselves in with regards to politics? So my PhD thesis is on female inclusion in Southwest politics. In the process of my research is how I came up with this theory that is being propagated right now. It's called the female equilibrium theory. And what is it? It says that if we women begin to collaborate more, females as a whole will progress better and will enjoy equity.
Young parliamentarians in the House of Representatives apparently are the vanguards of this crusade. What makes this special seat bill a particular concern to them?
It's not a concern. It is an open mind. They have an open mind and they do not see anything wrong in a female holding specific positions in life. So they are party to it. They are willing to help change the mind of people who have the patriarchal mindset. You know, so that's why, because they are young, they see life from a different lens. You know, the young are not as affected by patriarchy, customs, and they are able to see in between the line. Honorable El-Rufai made a statement that Prophet Muhammad, God bless him, right? One of his wives was a female who was much more successful than he was financially, and there was no problem with that. So if women are not meant to be successful, then our great Muhammad would not have married a woman. So when you sit down and you look at these factors, it's it's very clear that God never said a woman should not aspire. But then in some places there's customs. And then there is ideology that now influence religion differently. Values. Which is why we are where we are today. Not necessarily because God said women should not be in particular positions. But over the years and over time, it's been passed on that women belong in the house, in the kitchen. But if the women are not at the table, how can issues really be dealt with? And you know that when you look at developed countries, you will see that women hold leading positions. Then if you look at countries that are not as developed, you will see that women are not allowed at the table. So that's a sign to us that we're human beings. We're 50% of the population of Nigeria. We should be allowed to be at the table. Our voice should be heard. We shouldn't have to beg to be at the table.
What are your expectations as a committee as well as your partners championing this movement?
Our expectation for the movement is that this bill should make it through and it should become law, such that at the general election there will be some specific seats that only women will be vying for. And the vying will start from all the way from the ward level across Nigeria, across parties. That way, more women, female opinions will be heard on the floor. And then we can have robust laws that is all encompassing with this. And I pray it goes through. I pray that we all can come together. I know we still need to visit a lot more of our colleagues and share with them the vision and explain that this is not going to take anything away from any meal. It's going to add to the meals. It's going to bring a perspective that's going to help propel this country higher.
We appreciate your perspective on the news. Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
And moving on, building a prosperous society for all through scaling up resilience, tolerance, and adherence to the rule of law, cultural norms, and values resonates at the 9th edition of the Nigerian Assembly Orientation and Awards 2025. Issa Mohammed reports that this year's theme centered on a new Nigeria under the renewed hope agenda.
The 9th edition of the Nigerian Assembly Orientation and Award to outstanding legislators and individuals in different fields of human endeavors focused on reminding Nigerians on the national identity, history, cultural values, and traditions that bound the country together. Speakers harp on the needs to continue to support the Renew Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that rekindles citizens' trust and unites the nation.
So for conversation's sake, building a new Nigeria requires young leaders with integrity, empathy, innovation, and patriotism. So the next generation is not the future. They are now the present architects of nation's transformation.
Awardees and organizers call on all and sundry to have a rethink towards building a nation that future generations will be proud of and redeem the image of the country in the Committee of Nations.
We all know that our history in Africa, as Africans, we are people of high morals. So by the time we corrupt our young ones with a history of other areas that have a lower level of moral than ours, then we will experience some of the problems we're experiencing.
This country is neglecting an integral part of this nation or this population. We can never have a headway. Talking about the women. The women are not ably represented in governance, in politics, and whatever sector in this country. And this is where we are missing it.
This year, we give God the glory because our title is A New Nigeria. And what is meant by that is that individually, collectively, both from the parliament angle and the non-parliament angle, we can achieve a new Nigeria in different quarters of our life.
They believe the unity and prosperity of the country depend on the quality of mindset determining development and the quality of leaders of tomorrow. From the National Assembly, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
We now pause for some messages. Parliamentary news continues shortly after this break. Stay with us.
The Director General, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies NILT, Professor Abubakar Olariwaju Suleiman, has received with a profound sense of loss the news of the death of Major General Abdullah Muhammad. In a statement by his media aide, Muhammad Abdul Qadri, the DG NILT recalls the post-retirement services rendered by the late former military governor of Benue and Plateau State, as well as the pioneer Director General of the National Security Organization, NSO, saying that they are testament to a life rooted in patriotism, excellence, resilience, and integrity. The former Minister of National Planning commiserated with the Kwara State Governor, Madam Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Silu Gambari, the military family, and the people of Ilorin Emirate. He prayed to Almighty Allah to accept the return of the late General Abdullah Muhammad, retired into the finest abode in Al Jannat Firdaus, and grant his loved ones profound courage to navigate the difficult times caused by his death.
This is Parliamentary news reaching you from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. You can follow the platforms on the screen for more updates. Do not panic. We are not on witch hunt mission. This was the message of the House of Representatives Committee on University Education to Vice Chancellors of Federal Universities. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that the committee is currently on oversight of universities domiciled in the southeastern parts of the country.
During an interface with University of Nigeria Nsukka on the 2025 budget performance, some violations related to federal character principles and staff establishment were identified.
Section 14, subsection 3, where you are required under the also Federal Character Act to employ persons from across the Federation. Each state has an equity share of 2.7%.
Honestly speaking, the approval given to us this time around is nothing to write home about. In fact, I was just imagining how we would be able to scale through it in a situation where the university was just giving approval of maybe 500 plus, opportunities and vacancies. Where do we start?
At the Federal University of Allied Health Sciences, Enugu, Chairman of the committee, Abubakar Hassan Fulata, frowned at the failure of the Vice Chancellor to face the committee.
The actions of the Vice Chancellor is viewed by this committee as a deliberate contempt of the Constitution and deliberate disregard to the institution of the National Assembly. We have excused his absence last year, but we are not ready to excuse his absence this year.
The visit to Nnamdi Azikiwe University was cut short as the acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Carol Arinze Umobi, requested an executive session. The oversight visit continues with other higher institutions in the zone. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Still on education, the Yobe State House of Assembly has passed a bill for an act amending the composition of governing councils of 5 tertiary institutions in the state. Babagana Kolo reports that the amendment will also create an avenue for the institutions to offer more new courses.
In continuation of legislative scrutiny on a bill for a law to amend the composition of governing councils of the 5 colleges of education and polytechnics of the state, the Speaker of the House, Chiroma Buba Masho, read out resolution of the House, after which allowed the bill to go for third reading and subsequent passage into law.
The law to amend the composition of the governing council of Yobe State College of Administration, Management and Technology, Portiskum, related matters there in 2025. Those in favor of the third reading and passage of these bills say ayes. Contrary say nay, the ayes have it.
The bill seeks to amend the composition of governing councils of Mai Idris Aloma Polytechnic Gaidam, College of Administration and Technology Potoskum, College of Agriculture, Science and Technology Gujuba, Umar Suleiman College of Education Geshwa, and College of Education and Legal Studies Nguru. The bill will give room for accreditation of more courses in the institutions, as well as allow College of Education Geshwa and College of Education and Legal Studies Nguru to offer degree programs in education and other relevant fields through dual mode program in line with the National University Commission and Federal Ministry of Education guidelines. In Damaturu, I am Babagana Kolo, NTA News.
In a related development, the Delta State House of Assembly has dismissed petition of refusal to restore the 4 years period of study leave without pay in compliance with Circular Letter number 2, 1980, being the period Oyibohoro Felicia Efe was away for studies by the Local Government Services Commission for lack of jurisdiction on the part of the State House of Assembly. Godfrey Nzekwe has more.
Presenting the report of the House Committee on Public Petitions, the chairman Matthew Omonade stated the petitioner's case, respondent's case, findings and recommendation. The speaker, Emomo Timuguo, instructed the clerk of the House to communicate the resolution of the House to all the parties involved.
Mrs. Oyiboro Felicia appeared in person when the petition came up before the committee for investigative hearing and gave evidence to substantiate her petition against the respondent. She averred before the committee that shortly after the confirmation of her appointment as a clerical officer in 1992, she proceeded to the University of Benin with the approval of the Local Government Service Commission on study leave without pay in 1994. She averred that following the approval granted for her to proceed on studies, her salary was stopped with immediate effect, and during the period she was away on the said studies, she was neither promoted nor considered for any allowance or other employment benefits to which she would ordinarily have been entitled. She further averred that as part of her commitment to the Local Government Service Commission, she was made to sign a bond that she would return to work after her graduation from school to impute the knowledge gained into the service for efficient and effective service delivery. Now, Oyiboro Felicia posited that she opted for study leave without pay because of the provision of Circular Letter number C2 1980 dated 14 January 1980, which was adopted in the defunct Bender State and applicable to Delta State, and which was replicated in Circular Letter number, the reference number is there, Mr. Speaker, which provides that the period of study leave without pay shall be added back to an officer's years of service upon graduation and resumption of duty. That by virtue of Order 8 42 sub 7 of the standing rules of the Delta State House of Assembly, the House is prohibited from entertaining any petition or any matter in respect of which there is a pending suit before a court of competent jurisdiction.
Those in favor that the petition be struck out for lack of jurisdiction on the part of the Delta State House of Assembly to entertain same. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say the ayes have it.
Other items in the other paper were deferred. In Asaba, Godfrey Nzekwe, NTA News.
In another development, the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly has thrown its weight behind the repositioning of the Uyo Capital City Transport Corporation to encourage modern urban transportation system in the state. Nsikak Okon reports that the resolution followed a motion by the member representing Uyo State constituency.
According to the motion, the Uyo Capital City Transport Corporation was established by the state's law as enacted by the legislature in 1993 and currently cited as Uyo Capital City Transport Corporation Law, Cap 159 Laws of Akwa Ibom State 2022. Mr. Sukwa noted that the inactive state of the corporation has caused disorganized and highly unregulated transport system within the state capital, which is unbefitting of a modern metropolis. He added that with the absence of a regulated board to pilot the affairs of transport system within the state capital, an organized and orderly transportation system cannot be achieved in the states.
Call on the state government to, as a matter of urgent public importance, constitute a board in line with Section 2 of the law establishing the corporation to commence full implementation of the Uyo Capital City Service. 2. Mandate the relevant House Committee to exercise continuous oversight to ensure compliance with the above regulations. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Some lawmakers also spoke on the issue.
We all know that this will enhance both economic, environmental, and social benefits if this city transportation is repositioned and properly organized. We know that it will also attract, under the economic benefits, a very good increased property values.
Mr. Speaker, we don't know whether it's linked to the Ministry of Transport or it's linked to the Uyo Capital Development Authority. So I think on the issue of oversight, since it hasn't been established, we cannot oversight.
After due consideration, the Speaker of Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Demoto, referred the matter to the House Committee on Works and Transport to liaise with the Ministry of Transport for its realization. Nsikak Okon, NTA News.
And that report wraps up parliamentary news for this evening. For more updates, kindly follow NTA Parliament on the platforms scrolling on your screen. Thanks for watching. Once again, I am Vivian Itekbefo. Good evening.